There is a large amount of popular mythological creatures that exist in various pieces of fiction. They were created in stories based all over the world, and today they can be found in books, TV shows, and movies. But some people are under the belief that these creatures and the unique image they have couldn't have just spawned out of thin air. They believe these creatures actually existed or still exist in some way, shape, or form. There is quite a bit of video and photo evidence that may suggest these mythical beasts exist outside of the stories we know them from. So that's what we're going to be having a look at today. So here are 10 mythical creatures that were caught on tape. Number 1 is the ghoul. A ghoul is a monster that existed in Arabian mythology. They were first introduced in English literature in 1786, and today they can be found throughout popular culture and media such as the Japanese manga Tokyo Ghoul and the popular game series Fallout. Their image has of course changed over time, but for the most part these monsters resemble humans and even more so zombies. While they are very prevalent in pieces of fiction, there have been a few people who claim these creatures actually exist, and there's a few video clips that may suggest this is true. One clip shows a ghoul-like creature emerging from a cave who appears to be on the brink of death. There is also this clip which shows us a creature that was discovered in a tunnel that has bright eyes and a very strange posture. The second the camera begins to move towards it, it quickly exits the scene. Now these clips haven't been confirmed, but while the definition of a ghoul given to us by Arabian mythology might not exist, in the game Fallout, ghouls are essentially described as people who just about survived nuclear attacks, and seeing as there has been nuclear-based experiments done on people, it wouldn't be that surprising if at one time a ghoul was actually living on this planet. We just wouldn't have any knowledge of it. Number 2 is a giant. Giants are one of the most well-known mythical creatures in history. They appear in countless mythologies and thousands of stories. Now, the tallest man in medical history is Robert Wadlow, who is just under 9 feet in size. However, general mythology tends to describe a giant as a person who is at least 10 feet in size. Now, the average size of people is actually growing quite a bit due to advanced diets and developed medical practices, so somebody being 10 feet tall in the next few centuries may be a possibility. However, there are a few people who believe giants may already exist, and we just don't have any knowledge of their existence. This clip was taken in Peru and appears to show 2 relatively normal looking people standing on a cliff. This is until one of those people seemingly stands up properly and we see how tall they really are. There have also been a number of pictures that show skeletons that may have belonged to giants, however these haven't been confirmed. Number 3 is the Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster is a well-known mythical sea creature that is said to reside in the Scottish Highlands. While most people believe this creature only exists in stories and mythology, there have been a large number of accounts from various explorers who have stated they came across a beast like no other in the very area where the Loch Ness Monster is said to be. These accounts started popping up hundreds of years ago, and because of this, there are quite a few people who believe this monster is out there. Well, there are a handful of videos that exist that show some strange looking creatures resembling the Loch Ness Monster. An example of this is a video that a camera crew picked up that shows a creature coming towards them. It just about misses the boat and appears to be very large and very fast. Another video here shows a similar sight where a mysterious creature begins approaching a nearby boat. As well as this, there have been quite a few photos taken of creatures that resemble the Loch Ness Monster, and while many of these have been confirmed fake, there are a few that remain a mystery. Number 4 is the Imp. An imp is a small creature that spawns from German mythology. It was originally deemed to be a lesser goblin, but in a lot of modern media it is used as an individual creature with no connections to goblins. Regardless, there have been a few videos that have popped up throughout the years that show us some strange, unknown creatures. One video clip was taken in a person's home and apparently shows a small, human-like creature running across their kitchen floor. There have also been some other clips that show what appears to be an imp, however these could easily be fake. But with new creatures being found almost every single day, there is a possibility that we could soon find a creature that at least resembles an imp. Number 5 is a chimera. A chimera is a creature that spawns from Greek mythology and is described as a fire-breathing hybrid animal with 3 heads, consisting of a lion, a goat, and a snake. So you're probably thinking there is no way that this thing was caught on tape. And to be honest, yeah, it wasn't really. However, there was a creature that was caught on tape in Holland that shared a slight resemblance to an animal with a lion's head. The creator of the video actually got a text soon after from a person who claimed they were a part of an experiment to create a hybrid animal. However, this animal escaped for around 20 hours and ran wild in the area where this footage was taken. The creature was eventually caught, but CBS and other news networks picked it up and ran the story. There have been a number of people who have came forth in the past and stated that they were involved in experiments centered around creating hybrid animals, so the idea of an experiment taking place is not that surprising. However, an experiment like this actually working to the full extent is another question altogether. Number 6 is a sea serpent. A sea serpent is definitely a more general idea of a mythical beast. However, it is one that has existed in stories for hundreds of years, and it's also a creature that has been spotted thousands of times in the past. There have been some strange creatures that have been spotted on tape and in photographs such as this one here. So when you take these and add on the large amount of accounts that have been written, it definitely makes you wonder. With over 90% of the ocean to explore, we might still come across a creature that resembles the description of a sea serpent. Until then, we're gonna have to stick to the small bit of apparent video evidence we have. Number 7 is the Mothman. The Mothman is a mythical creature that exists in American folklore and actually is a relatively new story. The idea behind it spawned from a number of sightings of a creature appearing before some disasters. The main example of this was a disaster that occurred in 1967 when the Silver Bridge in West Virginia collapsed and killed 46 people. It was stated by many eyewitnesses that a creature described as a man-sized bird was at the scene moments before the incident. Since then, many people have looked out for this exact creature when a disaster takes place, and while there hasn't been any luck finding it, there have been a few pictures showing a creature resembling the Mothman. However, the bridge in question was said to have been poorly designed, so it is more likely that it collapsed because of that. But there are still people who believe it was the doing of the Mothman. Number 8 is a dragon. A dragon is one of the most well-known mythical creatures in history and exists in pretty much every mythology out there, but is very dominant in Asian countries. While it is hard to believe that such a beast exists in real life, there have been some video clips that apparently show just that. One clip shows a person who entered a cave that hadn't been previously explored. In the cave, there were a number of eggs and skeletons, and at the end of the video, we see what is supposed to be an actual dragon. Now, to be fair, I feel like we'd notice a dragon flying about cause, you know, it's a dragon. So if there are any out there, I feel like it would be discovered just chilling in a cave, but still, there is a good chance it could be fake. Number 9 is a pixie. Similar enough to an imp, a pixie is a creature that spawns from British folklore that also has some Irish and Scottish descent. Areas in the United Kingdom, notably Cornwall and Devon, actually had moments in the 19th century where most of these areas actually believed these creatures existed. There have been a large number of accounts from Cornwall and Devon that states pixies would often visit their homeland, and because of this, quite a few people believe there is a possibility pixies or a creature similar to it exist. One video that was recorded showed a full human skeleton that was only around 6 inches in size. As well as this, there have been some videos that show what appear to be pixies or fairies, but whether these are real or not have not been confirmed. Number 10 is Bigfoot. Another very well-known story, Bigfoot is an ape-like creature that spawns from North American folklore. There have been sightings of this creature for well over 100 years, but the most famous sighting came in 1967 when the Patterson footage emerged. The footage showed what appeared to be a creature that resembled the description of Bigfoot. However, many people claimed it was just a person in a gorilla suit. Since this footage emerged, people have searched far and wide for similar findings, and a number of clips have appeared that apparently show Bigfoot. While many of these are said to be fake, there are a few clips that have even left experts baffled. And that's it for this episode of Caught on Tape. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. I'll leave a link in the description to a playlist that will lead you to the rest of the episodes I've done on this series. But that is all for now. Until next time. Actually exist. And there's a few video clips that may suggest this is true. One clip shows a ghoul-like creature emerging from a cave who appears to be on the brink of death. There is also this clip which shows us a creature that was discovered in a tunnel that has bright eyes and a very strange posture. The second the camera begins to move towards it, it's found throughout popular culture and media such as the Japanese manga Tokyo Ghoul and the popular game series Fallout. Their image has, of course, changed over time, but for the most part, these monsters resemble humans and even more so, zombies. While they are very prevalent in pieces of fiction, there have been a few people who claim these creatures are the stories we know them from. So that's what we're going to be having a look at today. So here are 10 mythical creatures that were caught on tape. Number 1 is the ghoul. A ghoul is a monster that existed in Arabian mythology. They were first introduced in English literature in 1786, and today they can be found in books, TV shows, and movies. But some people are under the belief that these creatures and the unique image they have couldn't have just spawned out of thin air. They believe these creatures actually existed or still exist in some way, shape, or form. There is quite a bit of video and photo evidence that may suggest these mythical beasts exist outside of There is a large amount of popular mythological creatures that exist in various pieces of fiction. They were created in stories based all over the world, and today they can be found